and gentlemen, it is finally fantasy football season, and who else would you expect to see besides the three dudes who degenerately play it like they have nothing else to do with their time?
I don't.
Uh, yeah, fair enough. We are here because if you are trying to win in a fantasy football league, mock drafting might be one of the most important things that you can do
Yeah.
to find out what you need to do from every position. You never know what's going to happen during your draft, and figuring out where you're going to be at every spot. Some of us do research, i.e., me. Some of us don't, and that's okay.
I've done
That's why.
shit this.
That's why mock drafting is important.
I'm raw dogging it. This is my first mock draft. I waited for y'all. So.
I tried to mock draft the other day and I got bored.
I'm just going in blindly.
Without further ado, we're doing the typical 12-man league: one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, tight end, two flex, one defense, one kicker. We're probably not going to draft a defense or a kicker just because it makes sense for us to tell you why we're picking somebody else instead of a defense or a kicker. Obviously, that comes down to just luck at the end of the day. What we're going to do is I'm drafting from the 4 position. Caleb is drafting from the 7 position. Nick down low is drafting from the 2 position. We're going to make our picks. We're going to explain why we're making our picks, and then we are going to move through this draft hopefully as soon as possible. We don't want to keep you guys here forever. So, Nick, without further ado, throw the draft up for me. Let's get this bad boy underway.
Oh, yeah.
First pick off the board is Austin Eckler. Now,
What?
hear me out. I don't hate that. It's a safe pick. It's not my pick, but it's a safe pick.
Especially in a PPR league, that's
100%. He caught 100 balls last year.
Yeah, I know he's a disgruntled running back, but I mean, I think for sure he'll be playing at his top tier.
100%.
And he gives you jerseys.
Yeah, he does.
He does give you jerseys. He does
All
give you
right,
jerseys.
it is my pick,
Yes, sir.
and I will go with Christian McCaffrey.
Well, I think it's kind of the consensus number 1 pick everywhere right now if you're smart and you like to draft the running back position. The fact that I'm at the 4 spot and Justin Jefferson fell to me, I'm very, very okay with that. Regardless as to whether Kirk Cousins is his quarterback or not, he should be the wide receiver 1 this year by a significant amount. And Justin Jefferson's the easy pick at 4. I'm kind of giddy about that, honestly. Board goes Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce. Caleb's up at 7.
Son of a fucking bitch, I was going to take Travis Kelce. So,
This is why you mock draft.
let's just fucking do it. And, oh, fucking damn it. Oh, I hate it. Oh.
I do like Travis Kelce that high also.
Travis Kelce that high makes a lot of sense this year. It's about time he actually starts getting valued at the pick he's supposed to be. Dude, people getting him in the 2nd and 3rd round the past couple of years has been league winners in a lot of ways, believe it or not.
I fucking hate it.
The Travis Kelce lookalike wanted Travis Kelce.
I'm gonna fucking do it.
Is he doing it? Is he doing it? You doing it?
No.
You should do it.
Do it.
Do it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought you were gonna do.
I wanted Cooper Kupp, but I don't fucking trust no quarterback over there.
And that's fair. Cooper Kupp, like at the 9 spot, is kind of insane, especially if he plays how he has been in recent.
Oh, look, it's right back to me.
Yes, it is.
Cup,
Incredible.
Monte, Diggs, Barkley, Lamb, Henry, Chubb,
I think I'm
Brown.
gonna do it. I
and
think,
Mahomes.
I think I'm gonna do it. Let's go, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
God. Okay, so here's the problem with drafting a wide receiver in the 1st round: is that by the time it gets back to you, usually the running backs are gone, the
Mhm.
good ones at least. And obviously, you can see the 1st round alone, they went 5 running backs and 6 wide receivers off the board. Both are obviously very valuable. After Caleb takes Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was a sleeper last year for a lot of people, is now a 2nd round pick this year.
I traded Amon-Ra St. Brown for Tyreek Hill last year. That's how valuable he is.
And then following that goes Josh Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. From here, at the 4 spot, I could go with Tony Pollard because he's going to be a workhouse back in Dallas. But I think at this moment in time, we realize now how valuable quarterbacks are. And I think that's what I have to do, honestly, because the running backs are going to be pretty much the same when it gets back to me in round 3. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And like I said, might not be how I actually draft, but this is why you do mock drafts, people. You figure
This
out
is nowhere near the way I would draft. Taking a quarterback anywhere before the fucking fourth is insane to me.
I mean, I'm taking Josh Allen in the second round if he gets to me, but
This is why I hate sleeper, because they're ranking the quarterbacks that high.
that's because that's how many points they score.
Well,
Following my pick comes Jalen Waddle. Back to Nick at the 2.
I always feel too it matters on who you have in your league, because you get some leagues where people will make very, very questionable picks, and you're
like
this-
somebody taking Justin Tucker in the
Yes.
fucking 8th round
yes.
and being stoked that they got Justin Tucker and saying they're going to win.
Since I will be back in a few,
Mhm.
I will go get the other quarterback because he's from Houston. I just like
Wow.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay, Team 1 can suck a dick. That's what I figured out.
Austin
Jalen
Eckler,
Hurts
Tony Pollard, and Brees Hall. What the fuck?
literally just killed my entire strategy there by taking 2 running backs back to back. So it's a solid solution a lot of people go with, though. They like to draft 3 running backs right away and then work their team from there. Nick back up at the 2.
So I do like Stevenson, but I don't trust that team. I do like Harris, but I don't trust that team fully yet. So I'm gonna go with my boy that did not steer me wrong, and this is just off of my gut, and it could be the Taco Bell I had the other day. But we're gonna go with Travis Etienne.
Etienne. So Team 3 took my thunder here because Mark Andrews was going to be my next pick, and I was going to just RBBC throughout the entire year, maybe trade somebody down the road. But now that Mark Andrews is gone, I'm going to go with somebody who I have projected in the top 7 of running backs this year. Ramondre Stevenson should get a workload this year. We saw it at the end of the year last year. He was blowing up fantasy wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely okay with having him as my RB1. Following me goes Najee Harris and Chris Olave. Back to Caleb.
He's going running back.
Oh, no.
With one.
This is insanely deep. You know what?
He's going quarterback.
I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to take T. Higgins.
Solid pick. A lot of people projecting him to be a top 10 wide receiver fantasy wise, along
Lamar
with.
before Joe Burrow. I don't hate that actually.
I really hoped. Okay, so following T. Higgins goes Debo Samuel, Jahmyr Gibbs, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Kenneth Walker, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones, and Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Back to Caleb, who currently has 1 running back, 2 wide receivers.
Keenan Allen been healthy.
Keenan Allen's healthy all year. He should be higher value than this.
You know what? It's the 4th round.
Yep.
And
He's
I
going to
think
get
it's...
Dak Prescott.
Nope. I think I'm going to do it. Give me George Kittle.
George Kittle was a huge disappointment last year. He was a huge disappointment last year. Team 6 grabs Calvin Ridley. Team 5 grabs T.J. Hockenson, and the tight ends are starting to fly off the board. But that does leave me a plethora of options. I have the most premium position shored up at quarterback. I have a running back, and I have a wide receiver. Nick sees somebody he really wants. And
I have like
me to
5.
pick. You have 5 you want. Okay. Man, this is the toughest spot for me.
Door number 3, me lord.
I'm going to take somebody who Houston fans probably hate right now because their jersey is going to be cooler than theirs. I'm going to go with the newest Titan, DeAndre Hopkins, at my second wide receiver
Glad
spot.
you-
I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's a terrible pick on
I
your
don't.
part.
I
But
don't.
it's
I
okay.
don't.
That's what fantasy football's about.
That's fair enough. Amari Cooper goes after that. We are back to Nick.
It's okay. I wouldn't want him either.
All right, I need a friggin' receiver
Bad.
badly, and I am not a DJ Moore fan, so you can wipe him off of my board already. I do not want that. dude. So
DJ Moore.
it's either Scary Terry or I am going with Drake London. But Scary Terry, I think at some point they're going to get a quarterback either through trade or somewhere, and he's one of those guys that's very dependable, played a lot of games. I'm going with my boy. I think they'll be surprising me. No, my other running back.
After Terry goes, it goes Justin Herbert. And another running back to Team 1. They have 4 running backs now. arguably starters,
They're
which
trying to trade me.
is crazy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with another guy that I think is going to do really well, and I have his quarterback. Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goddard goes, and then Justin Fields follows. I'm kind of glad this worked out the way it did because I'm going to get a running back here who I think is going to finish probably around the top 12. I mean, just from sheer workload, what they gave their running back last year. The Carolina Panthers love to run the ball. Miles Sanders should be a workhorse, an easy RB2 this year.
I can see that. And I'm lacking running back wise, so I think I'm gonna do something crazy here.
Mm.
I'm gonna go fucking. Can't really call it a sleeper, but I'm gonna go James Conner.
Ooh. Somebody's got to do something over there.
It's funny that James Conner was like a end of first round pick last year, and he's fallen so far now.
Yeah.
Following James Conner goes Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, Alexander Madison, who is getting disrespected on every single draft board possible right now. Christian Watson, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, and Kyle Pitts.
Yikes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that. I'm down. Let's go Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett, a solid pick. Hollywood Brown and Brandon Ayuk follow, and then I get the luck of having Darren Waller, who, when healthy, is one of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL, and he is now a system where he is going to be wide receiver 1 again, or not wide receiver, but receiver 1 again. And the New York Giants, and they desperately need a pass catcher, so I will gladly take him.
Ooh.
Dalvin Cook, the free agent, follows Team 3 with their first running back of the draft, which is
Yikes.
back to Nick.
Huh. All right. Lord knows I need a right receiver.
Very much so.
So, I don't like Justin Herbert. I'll let it be known. Just because he lost me in my leagues. But I'm going to go with his receiver. I need Williams to... I think Keenan Allen gets hurt again.
Yeah,
I mean, if history tells us
it's
anything.
a solid, yeah.
And now I need help. I have 2 running backs that have history of getting hurt, and let's reassure some stuff here. I do think that at some point this guy is going to be really good for this team, and I mean they're one of the best. No, I hit the wrong button. I'm going to go for Pacheco.
Interesting.
Isaiah Pacheco is an interesting little prospect because we don't know what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do with their running back situation from week to week.
Yes.
It is
Oh,
getting
and then-
it's very, very similar to what the
was
New England
either-
Patriots do.
Pacheco or me trusting Montgomery's health, and I already have 2 injury-prone guys, so I was like, well.
When
Yeah.
I draft the way I did, when you fill out all the main positions right away, you get the courtesy of just picking the best available player in your eyes from there. And that's what I get to do now. I'm going to pick somebody who has not really been a fantasy letdown for me, really ever. But before I did, I'm just going to make sure I'm not missing out on anything down here. I'm not. Okay. I still think he's drafted too low. I'm going Mike Evans. Like,
Interesting.
Mike Evans in the 7th round is a steal, in my opinion.
I was considering it, but I don't know that Baker's gonna do too
Well-
well over there.
Baker did come out today and say that he stays off of social media because he's wired differently.
That's completely fine. But
Definitely not picking anybody from Tampa.
Yeah.
With that.
The only person besides Mike Evans that really, really grabs attention from me is going to be Rachaad White. He's the only other player on the team that's going to get a huge workload. I think Evans is going to get pass catches. Baker loves to whip the ball downfield, but besides that, I'm staying away. Javonte Williams and Rachaad White go after my pick of Mike Evans. Back to Caleb.
So, let's see. Everybody kind of took anybody that fucking wanted this round.
Bro, you said that Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway. You know what? God fucking damn it. I hate it here. I think I might gamble on it. I'm gonna go Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson has been somebody that I've been hearing about a lot lately in PPR circles because Eric Bieniemy loves to throw the ball to running backs. Following that, JSN, Deontay Johnson, Jahan Dotson. That's a combo to say. Addison Pickens, Dylan, Freiermuth, Burks, Dak Prescott, and James Cook follow. Back to Caleb.
Hate myself for this, but
Deshaun.
Needs a quarterback.
oh fuck. I'm gonna pick old man.
Hey! Look at you.
I ain't
That's
mad
a
at that.
great pick.
I'm not mad at it either, but
That's
know.
actually a great pick.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, your options were Watson, Tua, Richardson, because
yeah. Or rookies, yeah.
yeah.
Following that, Samaje P. Ryan, who's now in Denver, which is going to be an interesting situation. And Deshaun Watson go after. Once again, I'm still taking the best available player. And, like, to me, Michael Thomas, I want to pick him. But the problem is that we never know if he's actually going to be healthy.
True.
So, as much as it pains me to do so, I'm going to take the newest Dallas Cowboy, Brandon Cooks.
Ooh.
There's Tony follows back to Nick at the 2, or the 11 this round, rather.
All right. I don't know who this player is. Oh, I couldn't see his name. Didn't pop up. All right. There's guys I want, but I
Of
think I
course.
can get them later. I have 3 running backs. I'm okay with that for now. I'm going to go with the tight end. I think this is my keyword security blanket for my quarterback,
Oh, God.
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz could be the leading
Very glad he didn't
receiver.
take command.
Dalton Schultz could be the leading receiver on Houston this year. Following that goes Njoku, Johnston, and then back to Nick again.
All right. I need another receiver. I don't trust Thomas. I don't like Juju. I'm not a fan of Gabe Davis. So then I moved out to my things, and then I know all eyes are pretty much on Odell Beckham, but I think the rookie Zay Flowers can really do something.
Interesting.
I like Zay Flowers a lot.
Pulling the trigger.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Tight.
Thankfully, Michael Thomas goes, so I don't have to sit here and wallow on that one.
If you should have him.
What I am going to do is, obviously, this whole situation with Alvin Kamara is kind of up in the air right now as to whether he's going to play this year, or when he's going to play, how long you're going to have him. So if I'm able to give myself a for sure workhorse running back for the first couple weeks of the season at least, and somebody who's probably going to get a lot of goal line work because he did last year, I'm going to go Jamal Williams, just because right now the running back market out here sucks. I mean, you have Rashad Penny, who's going to split time with DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, who's going to get all of his catching abilities taken away by Antonio Gibson. So Jamal Williams seems to be the pick for me in the 9-4 slot.
I'm really glad the computer just auto-drafted Brian Robinson because I was really debating on it.
Good.
But I hate this because I don't trust the quarterback situation there, but I'm going to go Jacoby Myers.
Interesting situation he's in this year, being in Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
But I'm thinking about it based on there's no more Waller there. There's
True.
hardly anybody there. Jacoby Myers has proved that he's a wide receiver 1, so
This is true.
Jimmy got to throw somebody.
exactly.
Back to Caleb.
Yep. I know.
After Caleb took Jacoby, it went to a gang signing Tunga Bailoa. Anthony Richardson. Charbonnet from Seattle. Rashad Penny. Juju. Kirk Cousins. Gabe Davis. Khalil Herbert. Dalton Kincaid. And Elijah Moore. Back to Caleb.
Yep.
Yup.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna gamble because I like to gamble. I'm going with Adam Thielen.
Ooh.
Adam Thielen might be the leading receiver in Carolina, and they're going to want to throw the ball a lot with Bryce Young. So I don't hate that pick at
Dirty
all,
blanket.
especially in the 10th round. Should be like a 10, 11 point per week guy for you. So following that, a Kane out of Miami and Rashad Bateman go back to me. I'm kind of sitting here right now with like a lot of flexibility in who I really want to pick. Honestly, I'm gonna go with a backup tight end, just because. I mean, I only have one right now. Dalton, Darren Waller gets hurt pretty frequently, so
Yeah.
Somebody who was like a top 10 tight end, I'm pretty sure last year, and when Matthew Stafford's healthy, is probably his favorite option. Aside from Cooper Kupp, I'm gonna go with Tyler Higbee.
Interesting.
He is a fantastic choice in my opinion, especially in the 10th round.
He was
for a
my
backup.
go-to for, secondary tight ends a few years ago, and then he just decided to let me down. So
Well, I was looking at Cortland Sutton, but he got taken off the board, so I'm gonna go with Caleb's favorite weapon that was in Green Bay. You know how Rodgers loves his guys that he can trust. So I'm gonna go with Lazard.
Allen Lazard is going to be the second leading wide receiver on the New York Jets this year. I don't hate that pick whatsoever. Back to Nick in the 2 slot. After he takes Allen Lazard, it goes OBJ and Damian Harris, who is an interesting prospect up in Buffalo.
All right. Now is the fun part. Because I don't know who I want. It's a lot of gambles, especially with the running backs.
Yeah, there's not a lot of running back talent left, and I think that's like if you don't have your running back situation figured out by round 6, I feel like you don't really have that much of a chance to win
No.
a set league unless you strike gold on like last year. If you would have taken Dameon Pierce, got lucky with somebody else up until Kenneth Walker took over and taken him in a late round, then you would have been okay. But
I don't know, man. I always look at who I can trade at the very beginning too.
this is fair.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where I'm definitely going to be like, all right, I need to make sure if I don't have anybody, I can at least trade people. Man, I'm going to have to go with I got 40 seconds.
You do.
We will go with, you know what? I'm going to go with, I'm overthinking it now. I'm going to go with my boy Boyd. I think that team's going to be doing a lot of shit over there, man.
Tyler Boyd.
As long as his fucking hamstring isn't bad.
Yeah. There's a couple names left that I have high interest in. However, I will say one thing that really does suck is if your quarterback gets hurt that you spent a high round pick on. So I'm going to pick my backup here because I would hate to have that happen to me in this hypothetical situation. Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, the 3 options available right now. I'm going to go with Jared Goff because towards the end of the last year, he was kind of slinging the rock around and he was scoring quite a bit. If I'm not mistaken, they have a relatively easy schedule this year, too, against defenses. So I'm taking Jared Goff.
Solid.
Williams, McKinnon, and then back to Caleb.
I am going to start it here. I'm going to do it.
Oh,
He's
he's
taking the
going.
Eagles defense.
He took a defense. Okay, interesting.
That defense is off the board.
Yeah.
Maybe the best defense in the league, and they got better a lot this offseason too, especially in the draft.
Yeah.
Romeo Dubes does not make it back to me, which is sad. Tennessee tight end, and then Singletary, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Elijah Mitchell, who was going to be my next pick because, as we said in the beginning of this, Christian McCaffrey is bound to get hurt at some point. If history tells us anything, Elijah Mitchell showed that he could be a RB1 at some point when he had the ability to do so. Dulcich, Aljair, Rondale Moore, Sky Moore, and Romeo Dubes follow back to Caleb.
I'm going to take another person that puts up more points than most of other people's players, and that's going to be Bass from the fucking Buffalo Bills.
A defense and a kicker taking off the
Oh,
board.
yeah.
Mingo and Elliott, who's currently a free agent, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the same team that took... No. Okay, never mind. Back to me. I had my eye on Elijah Mitchell, like I said before. I like, at this point of the draft, I like handcuffing a lot. But I'm going to hold off on that and then hope I get the guy I want next round. Right now I'm going to take somebody who led their team in rushing attempts last year, signed to a new team, and then really only has competition in the passing game. A serviceable running back at this late in the draft is kind of something you want to look for. So I'm going to go with Deontay Foreman.
I called it.
Yeah, it's a great pick this late.
Knew it. Called
Russell Wilson follows after that. Back to Nick.
All right, I'm gonna go with this guy. I know he's under running back, but this dude is just fast as hell, and I know they're gonna utilize him in some way, in shape, or form. Cordell Patterson.
it. Right.
Sammy Laporta and Bryce Young follow. Back to Nick.
All right.
Solid
Yeah.
pick. I didn't even see Cordell was still on.
While y'all are talking, I was like, let me scroll through this shit. I haven't done my notes yet.
God, I hope my next pick makes it back to me. Oh my God.
I hope it doesn't.
That's really fucked up of you.
Yeah,
Now,
This is a hypothetical draft. This isn't even our real draft.
I know,
Yeah,
but I'm
my
still
real
competitive.
my real draft, I have notes and shit. Like,
Yeah, my real drafts, I'll be ready.
I mean, my notes are falling off the wall, but just so y'all can see, like, I have been doing my research. You know, I got all that.
all right, so I'm gonna go with this guy. I think there's a lot of names that I'm thinking, but I think this guy is a guy that I actually like him over the other guy that's on that team. We'll go with boy DJ Chark.
DJ Chark, Carolina, wide receiver 2, probably going to get a lot of reps. Not a bad pick. Justin Tucker follows. I'm glad he made it back to me. This is a name you're going to be hearing in a lot of fantasy mock drafts. He's going to be talked about a lot during preseason and into the regular season. Tank Bigsby on Jacksonville.
Solid.
Yeah,
He
I
is
wanted
a
him, but
great running back.
I wanted him, but I realized I had his starter, and I was like, well, I'm not doing that yet.
I just realized that this guy's still on the board a while back. So I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert.
Miller, Rice, Mostert, Darnell Mooney, Michael Mayer. The defense and kickers start to go off the board. Gerald Everett sprinkled in there. Dan Carlson sprinkled in there. Back to Caleb.
Insane. I'm going to pick my backup quarterback. I'm going to go with crazy. Derek Carr in the 14th round.
It's a solid one. Man.
That's
I
a
know.
great pick.
Insane.
That is a great pick. At this point of the draft, we could, like I said, pick defenses and kickers. I'm going to focus more on people who I think should get a little bit more shine that you should be looking out for, especially deep and late rounds. Clyde Edwards-Helaire still out here, which is kind of crazy.
Interesting.
Dawson Knox, who was like a 7th-round pick last year, still sitting out here. Matthew Stafford, who went healthy a couple years ago, was like a top 15 fantasy quarterback. I'm going to take a guy who is primed and ready, and we've seen him do well in the past. But it all depends on the situation in front of him, especially because they love to run the ball. If the dude that's doing it right now is not going to be effective, Jaylen Warren will be in Pittsburgh. We saw it last year. He showed flashes of being able to run the ball at a very, very effective rate.
Yeah.
If Najee messes up, another running back late rounds where I'm happy with the pick.
I
Back to Nick.
will say they do have that rookie there. So that's
They do.
Yeah.
They do. But Jalen Warren,
Oh yeah,
as I said,
Warren is
and the past
definitely-
was shown.
Warren's definitely a solid option. I remember when it was
100%.
between him and fucking Big Snell one year. I was pissed.
Now, I would pick a defense here, but like you said, since we're helping people out.
Yes.
So, for the sake of this draft, I'm going to go with the guy that I love. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is not well at throwing long balls, so he's going to fall in love with this guy. I'm going with my boy Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow has a chance to be a solid option. A kicker defense follow after. Back to Nick. Nick is falling in love with wide receivers in the late rounds. It
Yes,
looks
I'm
like
trading a lot of these fools. Actually.
Oh yeah,
He's trying to.
Lazard 1,000% is going immediately.
I love trading, so I traded a little too much last year, but
Traded A.J. Dillon for Derrick Henry.
I know
Yeah.
Yeah, he got Derrick Henry for AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Insane.
it was dope. Oh man, now I'm over here at the bottom of the barrel of
See,
I do
that's
need
crazy
to-
because I still see a lot of serviceable talent.
I'm
I
gonna go
can't believe
with
Michael Gallup is still on the ball.
Oh, Brandon Cooks is going to be the new number 2 there. Like, and that's the thing. Like, especially in like, there's a lot of leagues now where they're starting to adapt into the no kicker, no defense,
Yeah.
which a lot of players are going to enjoy because it takes out the whole randomness of whether or not your defense gets blown up on one week or not. So like in a lot of drafts, you're going to see a lot of people taking different things than obviously the Dallas Cowboys defense or Philly or Baltimore or any defense rather, you know. Nick, who are you taking?
no, I'm just kidding. I do need a backup. I think as a backup, and it's not saying I'm rooting for your team, but
Go ahead.
I'm feeling the love. I think.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Kenny Pickett.
Knew it. Knew it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say psych.
Johnson in Chicago follows. Back to me. This board is still very, very deep with talent. I need a wide receiver because I went with
I got you.
only,
Did that just say
only 4.
Chase Claypool still on the board?
Yeah, he is. Zay Jones, still a solid option. Michael Gallup, as Caleb said, still a solid option. Irv Smith, who I think is going to be a top 10
Yes.
fantasy tight end this year. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to be a great option late rounds. I already have 2 tight ends, though. I'm going to take a chance on somebody here at this point because that's kind of what you do at this point of the draft. So I'm going to go with somebody who could be New York's number 1 option, Jalen Hyatt. Hopefully Daniel Jones falls in love with them, but you know, at this point you're taking flyers on people and hoping you get a boom.
Yep. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with my last pick. And I'm going to take my hometown team's newest asset. And I'm going to pick Tank Dell.
I love the Tank Dell shout. Board files and Mr. Irrelevant is Dawson Knox. Thank God Irv Smith went off the board before the end of the draft. I felt really, really bad about leaving him there. But yeah, that's our mock draft version 1 for the waiver wire fiends. Comment down below whose team you thought won this draft, who you would pick, or which team you would want. Doesn't even have to be ours. It could be any of the other teams. Leave a comment down below if you think there's something that we missed out on. Make sure you like the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yep. Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.